Hello and welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich and our guest today is Bernadette O'Hanlon, and we're going to be discussing Our Lady Queen of Peace's message from Medjugorje on March the 25th, 2024. And just to update you if you're new to this, Our Lady has been appearing, Mary, the Mother of Jesus, has been appearing to 6 visionaries since June the 24th, 1981 and still is today. Some of them, 3 of them she appears to every day, and 3 she appears generally once a year. And one of them she sometimes would appear on the 2nd of the month for a while there. But it sounds magical and it sounds surreal, but try believing it. Open that part of your brain and try believing it, because you've got nothing to lose. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Bernadette.
Thank you.
So how about I start reading the message and then we'll just read it sentence by sentence and see what comes up, what you feel you're drawn to say.
Thank you.
All right, lovely. So here we go. March the 25th, 2024. Dear children, in this time of grace, pray with me for the good to win in you and around you. In a special way, little children, pray united with Jesus on his way of the cross. Into your prayers put this humanity which wanders without God and without his love. Be prayer, be light, and be witnesses to all those whom you meet, little children, so that the merciful God may have mercy towards you. Thank you for having responded to my call. All right, Bernadette, we'll start with, dear children, in this time of grace, pray with me for the good to win in you and around you. What are your thoughts on that sentence?
We certainly do need to reach out, because the church is in a bad way at the moment, and we need to bring people back to Jesus, because it's only through Jesus that we can get grace to continue to be good people.
Yeah. And also everyone can pray for good to be in them. There's no harm in praying. In fact, there's a lot of good in praying. And I think it's pretty amazing. And I was thinking also, with some people just hearing Mary's appearing, it might sound a bit surreal to them. They think, oh, that's a bit far-fetched. And that she took the visionaries and she went through the roof. I think it was Yakov and Ivanka. She took them by the hands and went through the roof and up to the sky. I'm thinking, well, what about if everything we've been taught is a lie and stuff like that is true? You know what I mean? It's magical. And why wouldn't our life be magical?
When we were at Medjugorje, I was really impressed with each night when she appeared. There were thousands of people and nobody rang a bell to say Our Lady was coming to appear to us. And not to us, but to be there. And absolute silence, and everybody went down on their knees without knowing. And then when she was leaving, we all stood up, and I thought, how can that happen without somebody directing us what to do? It was incredible.
That makes me cry, because it's true. It's so true. I've been there 4 times. I've been when the visionaries have had the apparitions of Our Lady. I went when Ivan came to Australia. I followed him all around Australia, went to different states just to be there. And somehow I was always invited into the apparition room in all these huge churches. And it was exactly like that. And even if you were in the big church and you knew the apparition was going on, everybody did the same.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And the sun coming down and going back up again, that was incredible too. Yeah. And my husband going and pinching a pair of rosary beads, because there were so many people in the shop. And I said to him, they'll never...
pinched them?
Yes, because he couldn't wait. There were too many people. And I said, they'll never turn to gold. But we went to church and they had turned.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so he's very, very... He always holds them up to me.
We're not promoting stealing, by the way, if you're watching this. So he took them from the shop, did he?
There were too many people, and he wanted to get to the church. So he said he put some money on the plate.
Oh, in the church to make up for that.
Yes.
Yeah. And they did go gold too.
Yes,
wow.
they did, yes. Whereas mine didn't.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
And do you know why does he know why his went gold? Or do you know why?
Maybe he's the bigger sinner. I'm not sure, but I'm not admitting to anything.
See, that's beautiful. See, that's one of the miracles of Medjugorje. people's links in the. They're not. It's not like real gold. It doesn't turn real. Well, we don't know if it's real gold. I've never had it checked out. But the links in the rosary beads turn gold. Like they say, the more you pray from the heart, the deeper you pray from the heart. Like really have this relationship with God.
Yes.
But anyway, look, let's continue. Our Lady said also, in a special way, little children, pray united with Jesus on his way of the cross. So what would you like to say about that one?
Well, united with Jesus, I like to do the Passion of the Christ every night, part of the movie.
Oh, watching it?
Every night. I promise
wow.
God for the rest of my life. It's really changing me. It really is. And I love to see the way Mary, the best scene in that movie, I think, is when Mary had to go and rescue Jesus when he was a little baby, and then she had to go, and when Jesus fell with the cross on top of him, she went and she hesitated, but then she went. And the way she walked with him right through to the crucifixion, and then incredible. It's just to think that every night it makes me grow a little bit more, and makes me realise just how beautiful Mary is, because I had no time for my mother, and I've now got a mother.
Wow, yes. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And then Our Lady said, into your prayers put this humanity which wanders without God and without his love. So it's really important for humanity, all of us, to wander through life knowing we are loved, knowing God is love, not to wander without it. How can we help everybody to really realise that they are loved, that God is love and God is in them, loving them. It's not outside. You don't have to look outside you. It's all inside you.
He never leaves your side.
Yeah.
He really doesn't. I don't know how he can do it. You know, he's got 300 billion stars and galaxies up there, and he can hold in a cup the soil of our earth. And yet, so he's pretty impressive, but he can, but he can walk by each human being on earth till they die. It's incredible.
It's amazing. Anyway, on that, we'll have to go to a break. You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich, and if you just joined us, we're here with Bernadette O'Hanlon, and we're discussing Mary of Medjugorje's message from the 25th of March 2024. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
So we'll continue. Our Lady said, be prayer, be light. Not try to be, she's saying be. Be prayer, be light, and be witnesses to all those whom you meet, little children, so that the merciful God may have mercy towards you. So I like that, because she's saying be prayer, be light, be witnesses, not try, don't try to be, just be. I think that's, she's obviously saying we've got it in us to be it, otherwise she wouldn't be asking us to be it.
True.
Yeah, so we've all got it in us to be light, to be prayer, to be witnesses.
We've still got to make the effort, though, don't we?
But if it takes the sting off if you just say that in your mind, like, just be it.
What I do during the day is I say, Jesus, you are my Lord, my God, and my all. I keep repeating it every time I think about it, because I think I can do nothing without him. Yeah. So I just keep saying that all the time. Yeah. So it just then I can let go of what I'm going through and let him do it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So, no, it's very powerful. Yeah. It really is. And then, of course, using the name of Jesus, that just cuts across everything. If somebody's standing in front of you being aggressive, and you just have to mention his name, and he's there right next to you saying, what do you want? He never hesitates to come when his name is called. And when people swear in the surgery, it takes courage sometimes, but I always say to them, excuse me, that's a friend of mine.
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
They all say, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And I think we've got to answer.
You're so unique, Bernadette. You've
Well,
really got a unique way about you of doing things. It's beautiful.
you know, it takes a bit of courage sometimes, though, especially when they're halfway through a conversation. You've got to take them back to the point that you did that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm surprised at the number of people who do it these days as opposed to years ago.
But once I remember, I used to think, oh, that's so, so offensive when they do that. And then I was telling someone, asking someone, what do you think about it? And they said, well, at least that person believes in God and Jesus. Otherwise, they wouldn't be calling their name. So that's something.
Sometime in the past they believed in him. I think that.
But obviously the name is important to them, because why would they use that name? They could have said, oh, whatever.
We'll have to.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to look on the positive about it. There's some hope there because they did believe in him, or they do believe in, or they know him. They just, yeah. I mean, that's what the journey of life is, I think, to get to know God, to get to know Jesus, and have him really concretely with you, but in a good way. And these, people just need to remember that God's with them, and then the sting's gone.
I don't think I think it's the world now, not the church, and certainly they don't call on God unless, they're really in desperate. I can't believe how much trouble people are in, and they don't have to be because they've got a saviour. And, it only takes about 10 minutes listening to their story and they start to settle down. One girl came in the other day and she was just so upset because of COVID and what had happened to her. And she said, my whole life has changed. And, I just waited and listened to her talking, and then I said, would you like some holy water? And she said, I would so like some holy water. And so she goes off. I had told her about how powerful that is, and she couldn't get any tablets, but she went away. Our surgery's called the holy water surgery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, can I tell you about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what happened was there was a girl came in and she had cancer of the throat, and you have to be quickly dealt with. So she heard me talking about the holy water and she said, do you think I could have some? And she's in the theatre ready to be operated on. And the nurse who was there was a lapsed Catholic, and she said to her, do you think the holy water would have helped me, because I don't want my throat cut open? And the surgeon was standing there dressed ready to operate and said to the radiologist, can you come in and do the carotid artery again? I want to see exactly where the cancer is. So that's what he did, and there was no cancer. Wow. And the radiologist said, but there was. And the surgeon said, do you think I would be here if I hadn't seen the cancer myself? They were most put out about their day being changed, the schedule.
Wow.
And they said, we don't believe, this has never happened to us before. Come back in 6 weeks. And so what happened was, she was a Catholic. She went over to the monastery on the Sunday and started telling everybody. On the Monday, this guy comes in, he knocks on the door and says, is this the surgery where there's holy water?
Oh.
And I said, yes, there is. And we have had so many miracles because, the most powerful holy water is one done at Easter, because that's had healing and deliverance prayed over it. I've got Father Pat Jackson who does it for me, and we get through big 24-hour specimen bottles of holy water. We put them in urine sample bottles, they're sterile. But we've had a little baby born after 10 miscarriages because of holy water. Yeah, so we've had so many miracles, and not their big ones, but little ones, like that girl. You could see the peace coming into her when she took the holy water from me.
Gee, that's so beautiful.
Well,
it's
it's the only thing as lay people we've got. We can't do the Mass and we can't do the sacraments, but we can give out holy water.
And did these people that had it, did they drink it, or did they just put it on their body?
We went to Lourdes and we thought we'd save some money by getting the Lourdes water in a lemonade bottle. We were so sick the next day.
Wow.
So I always tell them, don't drink it, because once you keep putting your hands into a little specimen bottle, it's going to get
dirty.
And be
germy,
buggy, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but holy water is made the biggest difference to our practice. It gives you something to give them.
Yeah, that's something special. Yeah. That's very unique. I'm sure that's probably the only practice I've ever, well, not that I even go to doctors or anything, but that's the only practice I've never heard of that before.
I know.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, no. We were using so many of their bottles that I had to get permission from the boss at Dorowitch, and she said, yes, you can have as many as you like.
That's beautiful. So, we have to go to a break now, Bernadette. You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. blow till I hear but breath of the Spirit blowing in me. Blow, blow, blow till I hear but breath of the Spirit blowing in me. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich and we're here with Bernadette O'Hanlon. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
And earlier we were discussing Mary's message, and she was also saying that if we do those things, if we be light, if we be witnesses, that God will show mercy towards us. So what are your thoughts on God showing mercy towards us? What do you think that means?
Well, I think that it's mercy. It shows us that we can forgive because of ourselves. It's very hard to forgive. Can I share something of
Yes, sure.
Because my mother had a favourite daughter. When I got engaged to Paul, I took him home to meet the family, and my sister had always got everything that I ever had when she asked my mother. So when I took my fiancé up to meet the family, after a few days she said to my mother, "I want him."
Oh.
And so my mother came and said to me, "You're a good-looking girl, give her up." And so
Give him up.
Give her, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting on the day of our wedding because my auntie came by, luckily, because my sister had let the hem down of my wedding frock. And then after I was married to Paul, I came home and I wanted to go to the toilet before we went away on our honeymoon. And we had this strange toilet that opened on two sides. And she locked me into the toilet so that I couldn't go away. But I sat there thinking, well, they're going to come, Paul's going to want to take me away on our honeymoon, so eventually they found me.
Oh, gosh.
But she no matter what I had, she always wanted.
Wow.
So, and she always got, so, you know. But I feel very sorry for her because, you know.
Yeah, how did you deal with that?
I just went away left them all and started my own life with my own family.
Yeah.
Yes. And she's a very, very good woman. She really is. She's been heroic in her life since then. She really has.
Maybe she looked up to you. That's why she wanted everything you had.
No, well, because she always, I wasn't anybody in my family, so.
But I guess competitive, I mean, that's an issue really with a lot of people, isn't it? Competitiveness, like trying to have what they've got and trying to be better than they. It's such a terrible thing in life, I reckon, people being competitive with each other, trying to be better than someone, and you know what I mean?
Yes, well, I cheated right through primary school, so I couldn't compete with anybody else.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, no, I just, the only thing I like doing is talking, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just read some other things that a lady talks about. So Mary, the Queen of Peace, we can see from her messages that she wishes to lead us on the way of holiness. She also encourages us to stay away from sin, from evil. She often tells us to decide for good and work for peace. So staying away from sin, staying away from evil, work for good, work for peace. They're the sort of things that she's really asking us to do.
And we can only do that really through penance and through prayer, can't we, in a way?
Yeah, prayer is important because then you actually build a solid relationship with God.
But penance is good too. Because I don't have many years to live, I've decided to give up
don't
ice
say
cream.
that. Don't
ice
say
cream and
that.
chocolate because I figure it's not a
Don't say
big long, but they're the best things I've ever had in my life is ice cream and chocolate. And I just decided if she's asking for penance, that's what I'll do. So I don't know whether she appreciates it or not, but I tell you, Easter was bad. It really was. And Paul always has ice creams twice a week, and he sits there and I think, So, you know.
But anyway, you've got some things coming up you wanted to let us know. What are some of the things?
Do.
Yes.
So we have, in our parish, we started last year doing a monthly healing mass, and we've got 40 young people from Indonesia, and we've got Carmel who comes, and Carmel, a Pentecostal minister came and spoke to me at the surgery and said to me, there's a woman, a Catholic woman from St. John's Mitcham who believes in God for raising the dead. And I said to him, can I have her phone number? And he said, no, she's a very humble woman. A few days later, I was in the chapel and there was a woman in there. And I said to her, do you know a woman called Carmel who goes to the Pentecostal church? And she didn't say anything for a while. And she said, I am Carmel. I said, can I have your phone number? And she said, no. She said, for me to get a result like that, I have to sit in front of the Blessed Sacrament right through the night. So I went and got Father Dispin, and I said to him, you've got a parishioner over there who believes in Jesus for raising the dead. So he quickly came over, and she gave him the telephone number, and I said, Carmel, and she said, I told you why. And then she said to me, all right, I'll give it to you as long as you don't use it unless you have to. So I went back to the surgery, and I only told one doctor, and it wasn't my husband, Dr. Alex, and he's got a sickly child about 5 years old. A few nights later, he rang me to say, my child is dead, has no clinical signs. Give me that woman's number. And you know the child is alive. So
Wow.
she is the most important part of our healing night. She gets the biggest crowds. But then on the other hand, there were two young men praying. We opened up at Ringwood at Our Lady's, and there was a blind woman in the front row, and they laid hands on her, and she said, I don't need my guide dog anymore. She said, I can see.
Wow.
So we're getting, and Father Ward, who comes to hear confession, he can't get over it. He said, every month it gets better and better. What is happening? People are just learning that they're getting healings when these people lay hands on them. So,
wow.
yeah.
So Carmel raised this little girl from the dead.
No, she sat in front of the Blessed Sacrament, little boy,
Little boy.
and prayed right through the night for him.
And then he was okay.
Yes. And she also did it for a friend of hers who was proclaimed dead in hospital 20 minutes earlier, and Carmel prayed, and she's now part of the praying team. So
The one that was raised from the dead in hospital.
yes,
Oh, wow.
she's part of the team now. She's Ursula. She's very good.
And so Bernadette, when are these healing masses?
Every Sunday of the month at 5 o'clock in 4 different churches, and on the 11th of May we're taking Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament in procession through Tunstall Square Shopping Centre at 1 o'clock.
Wow.
And we would love to have Catholic support for that.
Okay. And when you say every the healing masses, what churches are they at?
St. Peter and Paul's, Doncaster East, Our Lady's at Ringwood, St. John's at Mitcham, and St. Gregory's at Doncaster.
Okay. And are they in a special order? One the first Sunday, you don't not. Well, they can
Mine
look
is
it up.
on the last. Our one at St. Peter and Paul's is on the last Sunday.
The last
at 5
Sunday of
o'clock.
the month at 5 o'clock. Okay, we can remember that one. St. Peter's and Paul's, what suburb is that?
That's St. Peter and Paul's is Doncaster East.
Doncaster East. Wonderful. Oh, well, that's good. So you've got a few things coming up, and then on the 11th of May, you've got to walk through the shopping centre. In what suburb is it?
That's in Doncaster East.
Wow.
And all the traders are happy with that, and we're looking forward to it. But we need support from Catholics.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for coming on the program. Would you like to come on again and we'll do another update with everybody?
Thank you.
Okay, lovely. You've been watching Spirit of Life. I hope you enjoyed the program. May you feel God within you and around you. See you again soon.
Bring it to birth and blow where you will. Blow, blow, blow till I be but breath of the Spirit.